It's been very hard. It's been very hard.
Sweet dreams, little one.
Her name was Jocelyn Nungary. We sadly all know her story. Kidnapped, raped, murdered last June.
Was thrown in a bayou. Left.
A young girl who became a symbol of the dangers of unchecked illegal immigration.
So Jocelyn is in heaven now, looking down on us right now.
2 illegals from Venezuela now stand charged with her capital murder. We get it. A lot of illegal immigrants come to America for a better quality of life. And we're told that we're being unnecessarily scared, that illegal immigrants actually commit less crimes than Americans do, if that even matters. But then we see all this stuff on the local news.
New details in the investigation into the death of a woman found dead inside a mobile home.
Investigators are looking for her live-in boyfriend.
Video of an aggravated kidnapping as it happened.
She was strangled here behind us at Hinthorn Mobile Park.
The media doesn't usually tell us if the suspects arrested are illegally here, but we do know the suspect in this shocking video is Honduran. When you really start asking the questions like we have in recent months, you quickly find out that local law enforcement doesn't have a clue how much of our crime is being committed by people who aren't Americans. It seems like some of our law enforcement leaders don't seem to really care.
We have policies in place and we just do not ask.
It's time for that to change.
Breaking news after Houston police arrested 2 men in the murder of 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungary.
See that woman being carried back to a mobile home where she allegedly was locked up for days, deprived of food, sexually assaulted.
My sister is dead,
She's dead in the closet.
Crimes committed by folks who aren't supposed to be here.
For the worst, the gang members, the violent criminals, things of that nature. That's what we're all focused on.
In the past 5 years, Houston has the 2nd highest number of illegal immigrant arrests out of all U.S. cities. 2nd, only to Dallas.
An illegal migrant from El Salvador who has already been deported from the U.S. twice.
The Immigrant Legal Resource Center published a study 4 years ago claiming non-citizens make up 20% of the Harris County population in jail, but account for only 10% of the arrests. That can't be right. But our research using raw crime data from Harris County over the last 5 years shows the percentage is actually a lot higher. We're about to show you. In that time, there have been 520,000 people charged with crimes in Harris County. 80% were attributed to citizens. And if you believe the records, only 4% were actually due to non-citizens. But for 16% of the people charged in Harris County, local prosecutors list the immigration status as unknown. Or in many cases, the immigration status is simply left blank. But we know that at least sometimes the folks listed as unknown are known. They're illegally here, like the guys charged with Jocelyn's brutal murder. Johan Jose Martinez Rangel and Franklin Pena both have ICE holds on them now. But Pena, he shows up in Harris County's crime data system with his immigration status simply left blank.
We have new details about a child death investigation.
Locking the girls in closets, tying them up in trash bags, kicking them for trying to get food.
Soledad Mendoza, charged in the murder of her own 8-year-old daughter along with her boyfriend, is also in the system as unknown. So is he. Yet they both have immigration violations. And even when the database shows someone is a citizen, we are learning they might not be. Abner Ruiz, an El Salvadoran national, charged with online solicitation of a minor, shows up in the Harris County records as being an American citizen. But that can't be right. ICE has a hold on him. These inaccuracies are making it impossible to know the real cost of illegal immigrant crime. The Harris County records we are talking about are commonly referred to as DIM, the District Attorney Intake Management. But you can't blame the DA's office for all the bad data.
I wouldn't place that solely on the prosecutor, but law enforcement at the point of arrest has a responsibility for some information. The jail, when the individual is brought to the Joint Processing Center, has some responsibility.
Over the last few months, we've been asking questions to agencies that are involved in the criminal justice system from beginning to end.
We don't go around asking people if they're citizens. That's not our concern. We're concerned with helping people out and keeping people safe.
And the lack of accountability for crime committed by illegal immigrants starts, it appears, at the street level.
Greg Abbott will sign a controversial bill into law tomorrow on the border. 8
years ago, Texas made it legal for local lawmen to ask about citizenship. But Harris County does not require that of our deputies. And Houston police tell us they flat out never ask.
We do not ask at all. They are asked at the jail when they are booked into the jail by Harris County personnel.
So it's up to the suspect who fills it out, who checks it. Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez would not give us an interview for this report. His spokesman, Jason Spencer, put us into our place for even asking. Quoting, "We don't sit for interviews with private investigators hired by political campaigns, plaintiffs' lawyers, etc., for the explicit purpose of creating hit pieces disguised as journalism." And guess what? You pay Spencer for all those pearls of wisdom. He pushes the responsibility for protecting us from illegal immigrant crime solely to ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. ICE, we're told, has access to the Harris County Jail, even though the jailers aren't required to help them.
All of this is happening very quickly. Keep in mind, someone is arrested and appears before a magistrate generally within 24 hours.
Magistrates set bail amounts, terms for a suspect's release, even if immigration status is still unknown.
They have to inquire, and if that information is available, they have to consider it. That's one of the requirements of the law. But if it's not available, they still are required to set bail.
If ICE has reviewed the suspect, they can put a hold on that person that overrides any potential bail amount. But clearly, with 16% of arrestees showing unknown citizenship, ICE is not likely able to review every case. And this is how dangerous illegal immigrants can slip out of jail and back onto the street. Local law enforcement claim no responsibility whatsoever.
We have policies in place and we just do not ask. It is not something that is concerned that has any bearing on an investigation.
If you put somebody in your jail and that name happens to be somebody that ICE has been looking for, is there any way that they're going to find out?
Well, how do we know they've been looking for him?
Well, that's what I mean. Is there any kind of communication between you?
Oh, no, we don't have a direct ICE line, no.
The biggest problem is ICE has to have the support of local jails.
Louisa Deason is a former spokesperson for the Houston ICE office.
There are certain pockets, I'm sure, in Houston that are considered sanctuary sections where you're not going to get an officer to cooperate at all, period, end of statement.
The state of Texas has put pressure on that to change. A new Texas law effective January 1st of next year requires any law enforcement operating a jail to have a cooperative agreement with ICE through the 287G program. This will deputize local lawmen to assist with immigration enforcement.
287G isn't asking you to do the job of the ICE agent. It's asking you to comply through a memorandum of agreement, to be trained, to know what to ask.
As of right now, our sheriff isn't doing that.
There's got to be accountability. You cannot conduct positive and effective law enforcement if you don't have different entities and different law enforcement cases and levels of different police forces at both local, state, and federal cooperating with one another.
The Trump administration has dramatically stepped up immigration enforcement, arrests, and deportations, targeting mostly what Homeland Security calls the worst of the worst, but lax law enforcement and prosecution in past years here has left permanent scars.
After not hearing from her for several days, her family became concerned.
4 years ago, Inez Cruz Flores was supposedly beaten to death by Jose Corona, a Mexican national. A year earlier, Harris County prosecutors had dismissed a drug charge against Corona and allowed him deferred adjudication instead of deportation. Corona is now one of Harris County's most wanted, still on the run.
He is charged with killing both his daughter and his boss because he believed the two were dating.
Rafael Antonio Hernandez makes the FBI's most wanted list in Houston for a double murder in 2023. He's an El Salvador national who had been charged in Harris County with assault of a family member 2 years earlier. That charge was dismissed because he took a battering prevention class. Investigators say Hernandez murdered 2 people in a jealous rage, including his own daughter.
If there had been a facility at a local or state jail that would have honored an ICE detainer and agreed to the partnership with 287G, those individuals that are victims that are no longer here would still be alive. These are preventable deaths.
There wasn't a 287G partnership because when Sheriff Ed Gonzalez took office in 2017, he said proudly that he was getting rid of it. The ACLU praised Gonzalez for fulfilling the campaign promise. The sheriff's spokesman admitted they have to join the program, but he said there's no reason to hurry.
Any illegal alien in this country has broken the law. It is a crime to enter this country illegally.
There are current cases of violent crime committed by non-citizens who are out on bond instead of being deported. Jesse Saba from the Russian Federation, arrested in May for the murder of Merle Alberto. He got out of Harris County Jail on bond. Jaggard Bolden was arrested in June for the murder of Eric West, got out of Harris County Jail on a $75,000 bond.
If there's not a nice person at that jail at the intake process, there will never be a number that they can release that will give you any kind of a determination on the statistics of how many of those individuals are here illegally and how many are not.
Effective September 1st, if the magistrate is aware that there is an ICE hold, that would be something that the magistrate or the criminal law hearing officer could not release them.
We agree that taxpayers have a fundamental right to know just how much of our crime is being caused by people who have no right to be here. The Harris County DA's office has charged more than 500,000 people with crimes in this county between January 1st of 2020 and June of this year. More than 500,000. 53,000 people either admitted they weren't citizens or their citizenship is listed now as unknown. The citizenships of nearly 49,000 people are simply left blank. The official database of the Harris County District Clerk's Office captures citizenship data too. But since January 2023, more than 29,000 suspects charged with crimes are listed as nationality unknown. The bottom line, it makes tracking the true cost of illegal immigrant crime in the Houston area impossible, no matter what anyone says.